You know when you're planning a road trip and you pull up the GPS and you see that the main route, the superhighway, is just completely blocked. Maybe it's traffic, maybe it's something dangerous.
So you find another way, a longer way.
Exactly. You take the scenic route. Well, imagine doing that 3,500 years ago. The superhighway was called the Way of Horus, connecting Egypt to Canaan. And a massive new discovery just dropped that explains exactly why you might want to avoid it.
It's a huge deal. The Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities just announced the full excavation reports for a fortress in the North Sinai at a site called Tel El Karuba.
And this isn't just a pile of bricks. Today we're going to dive into what this single fortress tells us about Egyptian power, ancient engineering, and how it might just change our whole understanding of the biblical Exodus.
It really reframes the entire picture. We're looking at a military complex that covers about 8,000 square meters.
Wow, that's almost 2 acres.
2 acres of pure military power right on the edge of the empire. It's a key piece in understanding just how the pharaohs projected their strength.
And, managing a system that complex, that large, it requires serious intelligence and organization. It's almost like running a modern business.
Absolutely.
Which actually brings us to our sponsor, Silk. If you're running a business and need help with AI training, automation, or even custom software, Silk can help you uncover where intelligent agents could make the most impact. You can check them out at embersilk.com.
So back to the fortress. In the foundation, the archaeologists found what you'd call a smoking gun.
Okay.
It was a pottery handle. And stamped on it was a royal cartouche.
Which tells us who built it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thutmose site. We're in the 16th century BCE, the 18th dynasty. This is peak Egyptian empire mode. They're pushing into Syria, and this fortress was like a lock on their eastern door.
And the thing that really blew my mind reading the reports was the engineering. The main western wall wasn't straight. It was built in a zigzag, like a serpent.
Right, and that wasn't just for looks. It's brilliant structural engineering.
To deal with the weather.
The wind and the sand, yes. In the Sinai, a normal flat wall would get undermined or just buried by dunes over time. But that zigzag shape, it actually deflects the wind and distributes the pressure from shifting sands. It's built to last.
That is just incredible foresight, and it brings it down to a human level, too. I mean, they found artifacts from the soldiers who were actually stationed there.
They did. My favorite detail was the ovens. They found these huge ovens and even fossilized dough.
No way.
Yes. They were baking fresh bread right there in the desert for a garrison of what we estimate was probably 400 to 700 men.
So this wasn't some remote, starving outpost. They were well supplied.
And well connected. They found volcanic rock that was imported all the way from Greece. So even out here, they were part of a huge trade network.
Okay, so let's put it all together. You have a massive, brilliantly engineered fortress. It has a huge garrison of well-fed soldiers, 11 towers, and is part of this chain of forts.
And that's the Ways of Horus. It wasn't an open road, it was a gauntlet, a heavily controlled, militarized zone.
Which brings us to the biblical connection. The book of Exodus says something very specific about this route, doesn't it?
It does. Exodus 13.1 sim. It says God did not lead the Israelites along the way of the land of the Philistines, which scholars agree is the Ways of Horus, so they wouldn't see war and turn back.
And this fortress is the war. It's the physical proof of what they would have faced.
Precisely. This changes the story. It's no longer just about wandering in the wilderness. It's about a clear tactical decision to evade a military superpower. You couldn't march a large group of people, of families, past a fortress like this.
It would have been impossible. So the long way, the hard way through the desert to the south, was actually the only logical way to go.
It turns a line of scripture into a geographic and military reality.
It's just amazing how a piece of pottery and some old bread dough can completely recontextualize a 3,500-year-old story.
It really is. It reminds us that history is never static. The sands are literally shifting and giving up these puzzle pieces that make the past so much clearer. There's always more to discover.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.